We are back for the last 9 holes of the first round MPO field at the 2024 Swedish Open presented by Castleblast, 7th stop on the DGPT Europe this summer. It's still Maxime with Elias Luukkonen. Let's roll.
Thank you, Maxime. It's so nice to be here once again for the back 9 that I think is a little bit easier than the front, honestly. I would love to see a lot of birdies from these guys, and I think they would agree.
Yeah, easier than the first 9 holes, definitely. Let's see if Paul is able to keep the pace. Let's see if Niklas is able to recover a bit from the first tough 9 holes for him. And yeah, we'll enjoy some great disc golf. As you saw, and Linus is 1 down actually. We thought even. All good.
And the leaderboard, as you can see, the hot round so far has been 9 under. So both Paul and Joseph Anderson and even Linus, potentially with a really hot back 9, can reach that. Niklas a little bit off the pace, actually quite a lot off the pace, but he can still shoot a solid round. I think anywhere, 4, 5, 6 under is going to be well in contention if you shoot a good second round.
Yeah, exactly. So Niklas just needs to find a way to get some birdies now and starting here on hole 10.
Hole 10, a really short par 4, only 145 meters. You need to throw a touchy straight to left finishing shot off the tee. Don't need a lot of distance. Between 85 and 100 meters is going to be good. And from there, avoid the OB. There's a lot of OB on the right side, near the basket, right side and behind. So just get down the fairway on the first and then figure it out from there. As we mentioned a little bit on the front, Linus being more comfortable with a forehand right now, so going with an untraditional forehand flip up here.
Yeah, so tough to go forehand on this one. I think it's definitely an advantage to the righties. So yeah, he's, to me, just putting himself into troubles trying this, but voila, he's not comfortable with it for the moment, and Paul with a good drive.
Yeah, Paul once again with that straight putter he's been throwing a lot. And Joey Boggett's a little bit too far to the right here. He's going to have some sort of a look from there, I believe, because kicking left is going to be okay as you're far enough.
And Niklas with a good looking shot. Just catching the last 3 on the left side. He should be able to attack the basket from there, depending on the footing he will have.
And from here, Joey needs to make sure to finish left at the very end. And looks like he's done a good job of that, avoiding the OB. That would be left side of the screen from this position. And same thing for Linus, especially going with an overstable forehand. Needs to put some good Anheuser angle on it.
Catching some branches. That's gonna end up OB. And Niklas now. And that's cake.
Yeah, perfect shot there. Going with a new approach disc. We have usually seen him throw that red tactic on the approaches, but that's a new one. And Paul here, pretty good position. He's going to be a little bit left, and that's really not a great approach from where he was.
Yeah, not the best shot. He wanted to be a bit safe with the OB line going all the way on the right side. And good touch from Linus on this one. Bullseye. It's going to be an easy bogey. And Joe barely making that putt, catching the front cage. Good line from C2.
McBeth also from C2 makes it. Great birdie there. Kind of off the position after the second shot, but that's a good putt. A hole that you would really like to birdie as the next 2 holes at least. This is really the very scoreable stretch on the course.
Yeah, 10, 11 and 12, as you are saying. It's also easy to miss your line on 10. 11 is also one of the easiest, let's say, on the course. You won't take a bogey on this one, barely. Nearly impossible to do a huge mistake on this one, but you can catch a 3 and avoid the birdie.
Yeah, for sure. I think the best shot is going to be a high turnover, either with a putter or a mid-range. You want it to be not too overstable, a slightly understable or even very understable disc is going to be good here. You want that hold all the way to the right. Pretty precise gap. It's early to go too, or it's easy to go too early to the right, as that's a great shot from Paul, but the hillside, if you come in with too much anhyzer, that's exactly what happens, a bit of a cut roll.
Yeah, he's still okay, just outside the circle. And Niklas now, looking pretty nice, good height. Oh wow, perfect shot from Niklas. Bullseye hit. And a good birdie on hole 10, should be a birdie on this one also.
Enjoy going for the other play, that's the high forehand, which it's a very, manageable play for the birdie. You're not going to be ever really parked with a forehand. You can get to maybe 6 or 7 meters at best, which is of course a very makeable putt for all of these players. And never mind, you actually can be parked. That's impressive. I've never seen one with a forehand that close.
Yeah, great control from Linus, showing the forehand skill. And Joe from deep C2, uphill. Oh, just left side. Almost perfect.
Yeah, I feel like he's had a couple of those close baits from further out. As Paul, this is just outside the circle, and this time missing it just barely to the left. That was a great chance to push his score even further under par and into pretty much on fire pace.
Yeah, heavy chains, a bit too high on the left. And a good bird for Linus, same for Niklas, back to even. Good way to start the back nine, exactly what he needs. In Copenhagen, first round, he really messed up the front nine and was able to create a sensation with an amazing back nine to stay into the tournament. Hopefully he will be able to do the same now. On to hole 12.
Hole 12, another hole that you really would love to birdie. It's the second easiest hole of the course. Kind of like hole 5, almost averaging a half stroke below par. Off the tee, it's really a straight shot. You can throw a fairway driver, some players even going a distance driver here. Just stay on the fairway. If you want to miss off the tee, miss rather left than right. And from your perfect tee shot, you're gonna have no more than about 55 meters to the basket. Pretty straight approach if you're on the fairway, maybe a bit of a left finish.
One of the easiest hole on the course. Better to end up left side of the tee pad to open up the angle on the second. Exactly what Niklas is doing. Great shot.
Yeah, Niklas even pushing the right side a bit more than you would maybe ideally want. And Linus here, look at this forehand. Beautiful flip on it. He's going to be a bit more on that right side, which is tougher for the angle of the approach. But especially him throwing a lot of forehands, I think it's going to set up good for a forehand. As Paul is actually doing the same as Niklas, pushing that right side. And that's also just perfect position. I think all three of those guys are already expecting a birdie putt here.
Great shot from Joe. Dead center. And as you can see, the more left, the more opened the angle will be. He's opting for a straight shot, great control. And that should be the first birdie for him on the back nine.
And Paul even more left, having even a better angle. And once again, that yellow Luna that he has been throwing the entire round, he's got great touch with it. Man, it's such a cool feeling seeing him on these European courses. Used to see him more in the US. Of course, he did the tour last year as Linus. That's a great roll. Kind of missed it to the left, but no worries on the result.
Yeah, exactly. Not the best touch on the approach. Good reaction of the tree. And also, a bit too much left. Yeah, and he has a tester for him from 8-9 meters now. Yeah, that's a mistake. We didn't want to see him to make unfortunate. This one should have been an easy birdie from the landing zone after the tee pad.
For sure, and even before throwing the tee shot, even after his second shot, he really would have loved to make that putt. I feel like that's gonna kill his momentum of the 2 birdies, at least has the potential to. You know, he was about to make a great comeback, but it's so much tougher when you make a big miss like that.
Yeah, exactly. It can get into your head. It's easy to say, but yeah, just try to forget about it. And yeah, let's roll. And as you can see, the scores. Paul is now in position to be in the lead card already.
We are here. We are one. We will fight. We will fall. We will prevail. From the fjords of Norway to the shores of Spain, from the fire of Iceland to the hope of Ukraine, 30 countries, one voice. Go Europe.
And we are back on hole 13. What do you think about this one?
Hole 13 is a very, very specific line that you have to throw if you want to get the birdie. It's a relatively wide fairway at the start. The gap isn't really that tight at the beginning, but at the end it's very tight, the line that you have to throw. The best shot is a high gliding hyzer, already released on hyzer out of the hand, and you need the height to move enough left. Quite often do you see players land a little bit short and right. That's the easy mistake to make.
And Linus to open the party. A bit wide, bouncing off the tree you were mentioning. Yeah, he will be around the FPO basket. Nothing to worry about for the par.
And Paul, this is a great angle, maybe a little bit low. Yeah, you can see he didn't quite get that left towards finish. I think if he had used a little bit more height, that would have been perfect.
Exactly, good line. Just a bit more high on the release. And that's kind of the same mistake for Joseph. And catching the backside also. He will have an open look, nothing too major here. Should be an easy par.
Yeah, really important that height on the shot. And Niklas with a much better height. This is a great looking line. I believe going with a fast fairway driver. And that's a good shot in the circle. That's extremely good on this one.
Yeah, very nice shot from Niklas. Good bounce after the weird mistake on hole 12. Hopefully he will be able to take this one. And Joe with a half run, half layup. Not sure.
And I expect Linus to run this one. No, he's just laying up. I guess not wanting to have the long comebacker. It's a pretty fast green, a lot of skips if you go blowing past the basket.
Yeah, I can't agree more. And a bit right side for Paul. It was a good line, good height.
Niklas here inside the circle. Really good drive. But a surprising miss. 2 holes in a row he has missed inside the circle.
Yeah, it was going really nice starting the back 9. And as you were mentioning on hole 12, it can kill the momentum. It can really stop the pace he was on. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Just missed 2 C1 putts. It's really unusual, uncommon from him.
Yeah, I agree, but at the same time, I feel like we saw the same in THRU round 2, where Niklas was playing, you know, not great on the front nine. He was missing a lot of putts.
Yeah, now you're talking about... Yeah, a lot of players were missing putts on that second round in THRU. And we are moving on to hole 14.
Hole 14. This is a birdie that you would really like to get. Just under 100 meters, playing a little bit uphill. The perfect shot here is probably a fairway driver or a mid-range flat with a slight bit of a turnover thrown on the backhand. The forehand is a very good play as well, but forehand is risking that right side OB that's just behind the basket on the right. And Linus, that's an early release on the forehand. He's not going to have much trouble for the par. It's really rare on this hole that you're gonna be challenged with getting up and down for the par. It's really either a birdie or a par for all of the top players. And Paul there, he had a decent release, but just not turning it enough to the right. It's I feel like a pretty precise line, even though the gap is relatively wide off the tee.
Yeah, needed a bit more turn. And this is maybe too high. Okay, he's gonna be around. He went through the branches. And the crowd is loving it. Yeah, Niklas playing really fast on this one, I think. Yeah, he must be frustrated after those 2 misses. He should be 2 down. It would have been nice, you know.
For sure. And I mean, pretty surprising how fast he went there. Even Niklas being one of the slower players, or at least, you know, very routine oriented, always taking his full time.
And good angle from here. You can see the stacked crowd. Oh, kind of the same line as the previous one. Just a bit too much right side. The height was there. Really pretty run from Paul.
And Niklas here right at the crowd, very close, behind the basket. Look at that. Beautiful way to fix at least some of those 2 putting errors from the last 2 holes.
Yeah, only difference is he was C2 on this one. Amazing. Dead center. Wow. Perfect height. Nothing can happen to this disc. Great pace. Beauty.
And you can see on the face he's not pleased with how he's playing right now. And Joey Buckets here a little bit left. Surprising splash out. I think that could have stuck maybe 50% of the time.
Yeah, I think the speed on that putt was high, and it's the reason. Slightly left. It could have stayed, but yeah. Need a bit slower pace, I'd say, on this one. And that's gonna be a birdie for Niklas, par for the rest.
And moving on to the tightest hole of the course, only 76 meters. The perfect shot here would be a slight backhand turnover that even fades back a little bit at the very end, but most players are more comfortable hitting that gap with a slow disc forehand. So a lot of those forehands will fade out to about 10 meters on the right side. Let's see Niklas going with that option.
Exactly what you were mentioning. Yeah, slightly right side. And there is the OB behind from that angle also. He needs to be careful. And a lot of wind also on this green.
Yeah, surprisingly windy green. There's this big open area on that OB side. And Linus making the other, common mistake with the forehand. It's pretty easy to push it too far straight.
And Paul with the backhand option you were mentioning. And that's a good looking shot, good control, good groundwork also, sliding for a while. 6 meters, and that's going to be a headwind for Paul from there. It can be a scary green with, the wind blowing, and that's just going straight. Yeah, unfortunate. That's going to be OB for Joe.
Linus here from circle 2. Pretty safe angle, even fading towards the OB. He's going to be, I believe, right on the line. And let's see. Joey, this is the best angle to run the putt from. Again, not going towards the OB, but that's going to be a disappointing bogey on the shortest hole of the course.
He went OB, but I feel like anything can happen on this one. You can just miss your line by inches, kick a tree, and you will be in scramble mode. And we just saw Niklas missing his line. He's kind of off right now, and a good birdie for Paul.
And you can see the frustration. Niklas with a faster swing on the putt than normal. He's really off his game right now, and if he wants to have any chance at winning this tournament still, he will have to go course record on the next 2 rounds.
It's probable. he will need some double-digit score for sure. He's even right now, 3 holes to go. Let's go. Hole 16, slightly uphill. Do you like this one?
I think it's a decent hole. It's a pretty tricky line to hit, honestly. Most players are going with an overstable sidearm. You want to throw it straight with a bit of a right finish at the end. I think a backhand turnover, a late flipping turnover, is also a good shot here. Really important to avoid the right side OB. Really all you want to do is hit the gap here and move a little bit to the right.
And what do you think, forehand is the best option?
I think so. This is a great looking line from Paul. And avoiding those last trees, he's going to be just 7 meters away.
Yeah, you are mentioning the last trees, but also the rocks on the ground. There's a lot of things, natural obstacles that can stop your disc. Oh, exactly like this.
Yeah, those last 4 trees on the left side really blocking a lot of the great looking forehands. I'm not entirely sure whether the best line is in front of them or behind them, but looks like Niklas hit the front line and that's gonna be OB maybe? Just on the line of the OB right.
Yeah, we didn't see any red flag, it should be in bounds. Good shot in the end, and that's a good looking line also if he can't avoid to hit anything. That's probably the best shot of the group, at least the closer to the basket. And Linus starting from C2, 14-15 meters, oh, shorter than that. Oh,
good line on that putt. He had a really good angle, not going towards the OB, so a pretty safe putt. And Joey Buckets here from inside the circle, great hit. He's gonna move his way into 4 under par. Back after that bogey on the last.
And Niklas can start to bounce back now. Amazing. Back to under par, -1. Again. He needs all the birdies he can take right now.
Especially as Paul is... Right now he's matching the leader in the clubhouse. We saw Jakub Knapek and Roland Kor both at 9 under in the clubhouse, so Paul has the chance to potentially go 1 or even 2 above them on the last 2 holes.
Yeah, also note that 18 is maybe the hardest on the course, so if there is a birdie to take, it's now on hole 17.
For sure, 17 is it's a pretty basic shot. You have a gap to hit and you have that OB right that you have to avoid. Most players are going with a slight bit of a backhand flex. You would love to throw either an overstable mid-range or even go even with a straight mid-range or a putter if you want to make the gap a little bit tighter for yourself.
What do you think about the stable disc flex line? Maybe the main option on this one?
I think so. I think the line that Paul threw, as he's avoided the OB, the same line with a more overstable disc, that would be so perfect. And I think I would expect we're gonna see something like that from Niklas, going with that overstable approach disc.
Look at that shot. Exactly what you were saying a couple seconds ago. Same line as Paul, same release, just a bit more stable disc. Perfect shot.
And this one needs to finish left, and look at this glide on the disc. You can see we're going a little bit downhill by how those discs are staying in the air. That's just beautiful touch. I love how he landed the disc soft, not with a lot of speed, but pretty flat angle and just guiding it to the green.
Yeah, perfect shot from both Niklas and Joe, and a bit short for Linus. He's gonna be left with an 11 to 12 meter spot. Slightly downhill also, careful not to miss the chains. He's pretty comfortable on the green. Shouldn't be a problem.
And Paul from 17 meters, just fading out before the basket. Needed a bit more pop on that one to hold it on the line. Now he actually has a tricky comebacker from 10 meters. Let's see Linus first from just outside.
Yeah, heavy chains, just a bit too much left. Maybe too much spin, too much speed to have a chance to stay into the chains. Good save. Yeah, following his pace since the start of the round. He's in a really good energy, good mood, good groove, and we have Joe and Niklas with 2 birdie tap-ins. Niklas 2 down right now. Can be okay. Tied 47th.
Yeah, I know we're talking a lot about Niklas, but him being the runner-up of last year and one of the favorites, honestly, going into this tournament on a wooded course, really suitable for his game. We would expect him to do better as we're moving on to, as mentioned before, the most difficult hole on the course, hole number 18. Par 4 of 235 meters. What a hole. You need to throw a straight to a flex shot off the tee, ideally get as close to this right side OB rock wall as possible to open up the angle on the second shot. There's that mandatory on the left that forces you to go right. And the approach to this green, you want to throw something flat or slight hyzer with a good finish into the hillside. A lot of chance for a roll away and pretty difficult to park the hole.
Yeah, really hard hole to finish the round. Score separator for sure, and it's really important to mention that Elias Luukkonen birdied this hole 3 times in a row last year. Congrats, Elias.
Thank you so much, Max. That's not gonna happen this year as I already have a par on this hole, and neither is that gonna happen for Niklas as he's a little bit left, though getting through all the trees. That's really not the worst result for that throw that could have happened. I think he still is in good position for the par at least.
Yeah, just a placement shot now on the second and a good approach. That's looking better if there is the distance. Okay, fading early in the end. The turn looked pretty okay. Need to push it a bit more. Is it the hardest on the course right now?
Yeah, this one is averaging as the hardest hole, playing 0.44 strokes above par on average. So really tricky hole, not a lot of birdies, only 8 in the entire field. And looks like the first 3 guys are probably not going to be part of those 8 birdies.
Yeah, Paul also left, and we have the other mistake. Too much turn and a lucky break on this one. He was going towards the OB 100%. And a lucky kick on those branches. And as you can see, the crowd is pretty huge again for Friday afternoon.
Big crowd and very enthusiastic. I feel like that's great about the Swedish crowd. They're always, very professional. They're clapping for all the good shots, even cheering a little bit, but I'd say a bit more of a controlled crowd compared to what we might see in the US with a lot of wild sort of energy. As we saw, Linus actually threw a great shot, and Paul, he's going for a spike hyzer over everything.
Yeah, not sure exactly where he landed. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be left with a difficult approach. Hopefully out of the woods. And that's pretty okay also from Joe. Open look to the basket, 40-50 meters content width. Yeah, and that's short. The gap was pretty, wide. Too much hyzer out of the hand for Niklas.
And Paul here, this needs to finish left. What a shot.
Just perfect.
Yeah, great touch there. Even they had a lot of right-left wind on this hole, so managing that hyzer is going to be pretty tricky.
And are you ready for this one?
That's unlucky. That is so unlucky. I feel like Niklas, he's been fighting on the back nine, but that's just beating almost a dead man.
Yeah, nothing is really going into his way, unfortunately. Yeah, 2 missed putts inside the circle, and then the bad break. Hopefully he will be able to make this putt. As you see, his caddy 70 injured yesterday, not able to play the tournament this weekend. And Linus from a deep range C2.
Yeah, good run. Nothing wrong with that. He's gonna have to settle for the par, which honestly on this hole, par is a good score.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
And Niklas, another missed putt to cap off this unfortunately low level round for him. As Linus is also going to be 2 under, not ideal, but of course with him not being fully comfortable with the backhand on this course, it's tricky to shoot very hot.
Yeah, and as you can see, Niklas just barely making this one, just over the front cage. And Paul with one of the best round of the day. Super clean, no bogeys, no major mistakes. He was able to take the par on hole 4 after going OB. So pretty clean overall. And the players are going to check the scores.
Yeah, I feel like we had a really good look on what the scores will do to you. You know, Paul playing clean round, no bogeys. On the other hand, maybe Linus, Niklas kind of getting punished a little bit. I feel like that's what the course will do to you. There's a lot of tight lines, a lot of trees to hit. Easy to get so many bogeys.
Yeah, and in the middle we have Joe with some mistakes, some good shots, and 5 down is a pretty decent round in the end. He will be in the mix. Tied 15th right now. So yeah, in the middle of the mix we'll have an interesting card tomorrow. You know, with one very young rising star from Estonia, Roland Kohr, really happy to have him. And Jakub Knappe, first lead card of the year also.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. We'll see how the less experienced players will do against what some would consider the GOAT of disc golf, greatest of all time. That's another debate we can have another day, but thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you Max, it was a pleasure.
As usual, man. Thank you guys, and see you tomorrow.